Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome to another amazing episode of Boss Talks. And I have the amazing Christine Drummond here, who's my partner in crime. We're the dynamic duo, and we love to wake you up and shake you up. Look, the reason why we are doing this podcast is because we're out there. We're out there in the trenches. We're out there in the world of personal development. We run businesses, and honestly, we know what it takes to become the boss of your own life. And we want you to become the boss of your own life. And the way we do that is by getting our word out there, getting the message out there. And look, if this is your first time, welcome. There is a fee. The fee is share this. If you found value in this podcast, share it with someone that needs to hear it. And today, we're talking about something that we've come across a lot in our time as coaches and in the industry we're in. We're in the industry of helping people live a better life. So sometimes people come to us and they're not feeling great. They're not in a good state. And we need to have skills and tools around being able to help people really see that, you know, there's another light that they could be shining on things. There's a silver lining, how to make them learn how to feel better in themselves. You know, because literally we can't do it for them, but we can show them the way. Because I don't know about you, Christine, things haven't always been chipper for me. And I'm sure there's been some tough times for you, and we all go through tough times. But if you are listening to this, I can guarantee you one thing. You have made it through 100% of your bad days, and that is awesome. So Christine, how do we move from being down, feeling depressed into elation?
Oh, mate, this is going to be a rip snorter of a topic today. And for me, I just want to start with a few statistics that are out there, Joel, because yes, we've all had tough times. Yes, we've probably had moments of depression. Some of us decide to either let it affect them for 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 months, and others let it affect them for years, you know. So today, I want to share a few statistics with our listeners. In 2016, 2017, 35.7 million prescriptions were handed out for people with mental related illnesses in 2016, 2017. So that's like 4 million people are getting an average of 8.8 prescriptions each. I don't know why you need more than one or two. Someone medically might be able to explain that. But on average, 4 million people have an average of 8 prescriptions for, mental disorders, okay? 69% of those were for depression, okay? Now, I don't know about you, Joel, but I think we live in a pretty cool country. We live in a country where we've got fantastic weather, we've got an abundance of space, we have an incredible lifestyle, and we've just ticked over as the largest consumer of antidepressants out of all the countries. It used to be Iceland, and now we've taken over. So why can we live in the lucky country? Because they do call this the lucky country. How can we be the lucky country but still feel so depressed and so down in the dumps? And, I think they're saying that 1 in 7 will experience depression over time. At the moment, it's about 1 in 14 females and 1 in 19 males. But what we want to do today is we want to give you some skills and resources that if you do find yourself in a depressive state, that you know how to go from depression to elation. There's some simple things that you can do to be able to bring yourself out of that state of mind and start living a more blissful life. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there, Joel, because this is a touchy subject and there's a lot of money being made out there on this topic. We're not making any money from this, but I want you to know that we're not doctors, we're not experts in this area. We are literally giving you information based on what we've experienced, what our clients go through, and what the statistics are telling us, okay? So basically, don't shoot the messenger. We just think that this topic needs to be talked about more. There needs to be more communication around it. And I've been to, coaching courses and things where I've seen people have to drop into that depressive state where they're like tears are flooding from their eyes. They're so depressed, they're in the fetal position, and then in a click of a finger, they're experiencing elation. So I know that it's possible. I know that it can happen, but there's certain things that are going to help you experience more of the feel-good emotions in life. And isn't that what we want? Don't we want to feel more of the feel-good emotions? So I know for me, it's a choice. Every day that I wake up, I get to choose whether I feel tired, exhausted, depressed, down, grumpy, or I get to choose whether I feel alive, awake, inspired, energized. It's a choice. We get to do this. Now, having said that, some of you out there really do need to be medicated, and it's going to help you come out of that state and help you take the necessary steps. But a lot of you don't need it. You can say no to the medication. If I rocked up to my doctor and gave him a few things and said, I'm feeling like this, and this, and I could probably leave that doctor's surgery with a prescription in my hand. That's how easy it is to get your hands on antidepressants these days. But I want to go back a few thousand years, Joel, before we get stuck into the core of this. And I want people to know that back in the day, before we had antidepressants, before we had, doctors and things like that, we had what's called, we had an abundance of whole food. Now we've got an abundance of food-like products. We're overfed, but we're undernourished, right? That's today's society. But back in the day, we had an abundance of food, whole food. So we didn't have these deficiencies in our body. When people were in these depressive states, they used to just give them activated walnuts and would bring people out of this depressive state, because in a walnut, there's this beautiful vitamin called niacin, which is a natural antidepressant. So there's some lessons in that. Diet plays a big role in how you feel mentally on a daily basis. And I'm going to dive into that soon. But what do you think of those statistics, Joel?
Listen, they're crazy. It's like, it just shows me that, look, the pharmaceutical companies, you're a customer to them. So it's great for them to get as many products sold, And I really, really think that the first step, by the way, is to go, if you're feeling down, to go talk to someone, go find some help, and look, people are going to have a crack, no matter how hard we describe that, the place we're coming from. I know that sometimes depressed people won't reach out, but if you're in a great circle of friends, hopefully, you're going to have someone that'll reach out to you. So I know that I've got a great circle of friends. If I go quiet for a while, people reach out, and I'm very, very fortunate. Not everyone's that fortunate. So look, know yourself and know that if you need help, that you need to go seek it out. Don't try to battle things on your own. And, look, the next step is the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication, and that includes with yourself. So if you're communicating with yourself in a bad way, in a negative way, and it's literally the way a lot of people are brought up in the Western society, you're brought up to have negative self-talk all the time, and you have that internal dialogue continually hammering you and wearing you down and everything like that. So that's a big part. So, environment, and you touched on the food as well. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that I'm stacking the deck against me feeling bad. Does that mean it always works? Absolutely not. And does that mean I'm saying that everyone is full of it when it comes to depression? Absolutely not. You need to be common sense in this, you need to actually really have your head screwed on in this, because it's a serious thing. There's a lot of people, I don't know about you, but the statistics of people that are checking out, making a permanent decision for most likely a temporary problem is just too high. And that's why we're actually showing the courage to do this, because this is a touchy subject, and we do want to honour the people that are feeling down. And look, if we can just, check off a few of the other things that we know work and give some strategies that we know so far work, hopefully that'll stop people from getting down to a point where they're really, really in a dark place and feel like there is no turning around. So I don't know. Like that's my opinion. Like that's my stance on it. Like I understand people need help, and that's what this is all about, because life is here to be enjoyed. You're here to feel great, And are you always going to feel great? No. But if you're not feeling great, that's the universe or the world or your soul telling you that something needs to change. It's a call to action. That's what I firmly believe.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. And I think a lot of it stems from, society putting pressure on us that you're not allowed to feel this. It's not okay to feel that. If you feel this way, there's something wrong with you. You need fixing. And that's bullshit, guys. Like, we're humans. We feel different emotions, and it's okay to feel different emotions. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need fixing. I know growing up that I think I only saw my dad cry once. We were always, if we were crying, we were told, stop crying, don't cry, stop it, don't feel this, don't feel that. We were suppressing our emotions all the time. And I think as a society, that's what we do really well. We're very good at suppressing those emotions. And I was talking to you off camera before, Joel, about, someone I love to follow is Brene Brown, and something she said to Oprah last week on a video that I watched, it really struck a chord with me. She basically said, one of people's biggest fears is that feeling joy or that feeling of elation. They don't allow themselves to go there because their fear is it's going to be taken away. So we protect ourselves from getting too excited, feeling too joyous, too happy, because we feel like if we do, in a moment, it'll be gone. And how crazy is that we even suppress our joy or happiness in moments because of that, because we live in fear that it won't be here anymore. So something that one of my life coaches taught me, Mitch Bean, he's a really cool little Irish guy. He basically teaches you that, everything in life is happening in duality all the time. So you can't have the good times without the bad. You can't have happiness without the depression. Like, the universe is always balancing you out. You can't have peace without war. Like, it's just how the universe works. Everything happens in duality. So if you're trying to be someone out there all the time that's, I'm great. These people, how are you? I'm really great. And they just put on this smile. Yeah, I'm great. Like, everything's great. You're probably going to crash at one stage. You need to be a bit more emotionally intelligent. You need to tune in with what's going on in your body. Like, on the weekend, I remember saying to Tom, I just want to feel sad. Can I just sit here and feel sad and not have to be the person that has to prop everybody up? So I got to feel sad for a couple of hours and it was good. I just allowed my body to feel that because that's what I was feeling. I didn't try and suppress it. I didn't try and bottle it all up. I just let whatever the emotions I was feeling come up, and that was the healthier choice. If I push it down and suppress it, I'm just asking for a big explosion later on. So if you're a parent, I want you to really think about how we're dealing with our kids as well when they're feeling certain emotions. Are we telling them to stop, be quiet, don't feel that, that's wrong, you shouldn't be acting like that? Or are we really allowing them to be in the moment and feel what they're feeling and then talking through it and letting them know that it's okay? I know for my kids, if I'm crying, I want them to see that I'm crying. I don't have to be the strong mum all the time. I want them to be able to see that I go through different emotions as well, and it's okay. So for me, I think a big lesson is just allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling. Please don't try and suppress it. Please don't try and push it down and deal with it later. Just deal with it in that moment and give yourself the space and the time that you need to deal with whatever it is, but don't sit there in your little pity party. That's where a lot of people make the mistake, because that serves us. People who are going through depression are sometimes getting some of their human needs met, whether it's some of the human needs, which might be certainty, it might be significance. Maybe you sitting in that depressive state, you're getting empathy and connection with other people. So in some way or not, it's serving you, okay? And so we stay there, and maybe you've got peers or family that allow you to stay there, you know. But what we want to teach you today is that in a moment, you can snap out of it. You can take yourself from depression to elation, and it starts with a change in your thought process, you know. And it's not that we want you to, you know, get rid of the depressive feeling, because you need to know, why is this coming up? And if it's a pattern, is it coming up all the time? You know, is there something that's triggering it? Because maybe it's a trigger and we need to work with that. But I just want to talk a little bit on diet, Joel, because when you feel good, you do good. When you feel good, you're mentally sharper, you make better decisions, better choices, you have a more optimistic outlook on life, you're more positive, you're probably vibrating at a higher level, you feel more energized, more alive. You know, diet plays a massive role when it comes to how you feel on a daily basis. And a lot of the time, some people just aren't getting enough like good fats in, or enough of the things that, you know, help switch the lights on in here, you know, in our brain, that allow us to fire on all cylinders. So, you know, we live in such a society where we're so carb loaded, you know, and our brain uses carbs for fuel, but it has to be the right type of carbohydrates. I'm not talking like hot chips and packets of chips and things like that. I'm talking like carbohydrates from your vegetables. You know, that's the best source of fuel for your brain. And when your brain is firing on all cylinders, you can think clearer. You know, you're in a better mood. It affects all aspects of your life. So did you have anything to add in there, Joel?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just read in a Joe Dispenza book, and it actually upped the amount that I thought it was, but 95% of your serotonin is made from, like, comes from your digestive tract. Like, and if you've got bad gut health from eating crappy foods, how are you supposed to feel good? You got a 95% handicap, you know? So, you know, like eating better foods, like if you're drinking lots of alcohol and you're smoking, well, they're depressants. You know, if you're doing like eating junk food all the time, you know, you get that little spike, and like the food companies are designing their food to get you to that. It's called the Bliss Point, isn't it? It's like crazy. They're using science to beat you down, to get you to buy more. And like, I'm not saying they're intentionally trying to make you feel depressed. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is they're trying to sell a lot of stuff. And look, an apple on the tree is only worth so much until they value add it and turn it into all these other things. And like sugar cane is only worth what it is till they turn it into a Mars bar, and then they can make a heap more money out of it. You know, so like don't fall for it. Go down the correct aisle and eat better foods. Like, one of the reasons why I like left the supermarket industry is I saw a thing saying that if I did an audit of my store and I only had high nutrition foods in there, 80% of my store would be gone. And I was like super like conflicted by that. That's one of the reasons what led me to move into my health and wellness business, because 100% of that's good. So it was one of the things I wanted to tell shout from the rooftops. My coach is like, hey, just wait until you sell the store. So like that's a big one for me. So yeah, what else can they do? Like exercise. You know, if you are eating junk food, that's one thing, and you are not exercising, there's 2 strikes against you from feeling good. Like, I know that my son and I have we've decided to follow Ed Milet. Like, I'm a runner, I'm a walker, I do all this stuff, but I'm like, I've never really consistently done the gym except if it was going to make me a faster runner back in my day or something like that. But now I've decided to give myself to shock my body, give myself another crack, because I'm pushing 40 and I want to see if I can consistently stay at the gym. But I can tell you right now, I'm feeling amazing because I've been I'm really watching my diet, and I've been hitting the gym, and like I'm literally on this call, like fantasizing about the gym now. It's amazing, right? Because I want to go hit it, and I've got goals in the gym now. And so if you're doing those two things, like, what do you think, Christine? Like, have you seen people turn around in your time just by changing their health?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there's statistics and science all around how, exercising is a massive stress reliever. It changes your mood. A lot of people, though, they don't feel like going to the gym. They don't feel like doing the walk or the run or whatever it is. But if you go there and do it, no one's ever gone, oh, I regretted that. No one, because once you've done the exercise, you feel so good. The endorphins are kicking in, and it makes you feel alive and strong. And when you feel physically strong, you feel mentally strong. You feel unstoppable. You feel confident. And it's the same with your body. If you can be happy in your own skin, that flows out. Like that has ripple effects. When you're feeling good because of the way that you look, the way that you feel, and the way that you're thinking. And that's the next thing I want to kind of touch on, Joel, is what are you flooding your brain with? What are you fueling your mind with? Is it, TV and reality TV and all this kind of crap? Or are you actually putting some, you mentioned Ed Milet. Ed Milet is a great example of how you can turn your life around. He's done it. Do you have like people like Gary Vee or Brene Brown or, these amazing mentors and coaches who are very positive, who have a great outlook on life? Are you putting those type of people, that type of information in your brain, or are you flooding it with negative things? So we want to make sure that you're ticking off all the boxes, and we want you to know that this doesn't happen overnight, and it's a continual growing, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it doesn't stop.
It's a trend.
It is a trend, and it has to become habitual. Okay, so it has to become ritualized. You can't just go, okay, on the weekend I'm going to listen to as many podcasts and self-help books as I can, and then Monday you're back to the same old grind and you haven't implemented anything and done anything. But you spoke about the gut before, Joel, and there's the links now that the gut is so important for reducing depression. And if you go and I want our listeners, if you're playing at home, I want you to go and Google Broken Brain by Dr. Hyman. What they're seeing now is that the messages, there's 400 times more messages going from your gut to your brain than the other way around. So if you listen to one of Dr. Hyman's recordings, it's called Broken Brain, it's the Broken Brain series. He actually talks about if you can heal your gut, if you can improve the microbiome in your gut, you'll find that you won't be depressed. You'll find that the messages going from the gut to the brain are changed and they're healthier, and you won't feel the feelings of depression and things like that. You will feel more of the good emotions. And for me, Joel, I've never suffered depression, but I've had a moment in my life where I'm like, this really sucks. I don't really see a way out. I feel really embarrassed and, embarrassed, and you kind of just like, I don't know, like you just, there's moments in your life that you kind of like, oh, I could take the easy option and just end it, but you don't, because you're just like, oh no, I'll have a good sleep and it'll all be over tomorrow. It'll be a new day and I'll just start fresh. So like, what are you telling yourself in those moments when you're having those face down moments in life? Because if you can't handle those and the universe keeps sending you more and more and more, you're never going to be able to get out of that hole. But if you go, you know what, I've got a roof over my head, I've got clothes on my back, I've got food on the table, I've got an incredible family around me, what more could I want? And I think comparison, living in comparison, and it's not just comparison with other people, it's comparison with ourselves. So I spoke to someone today, and she kept talking about the way that she used to look, the way that she used to feel, the way that she kept going, oh, I felt like this, I looked like this. And I said to her, but that's you comparing yourself now, who's just had a baby, to someone back then that was young, free, independent, So why would you keep comparing yourself to someone that you were 10 years ago or however long? Okay, so you've got to stop comparing yourself. But what you do want to do is go, oh, I've been there before, I can get there again. So rather than comparing, use it as your fuel to go, well, I've done it before, so I'll just go back and do it again. Does that make sense, Joel?
Absolutely, absolutely, it does. And I think social media and the media in general, the news, and like you said, the comparison game, like that, like those tools that we've got, if they're abused, you know, can devastate you. You can actually, like, you think if you watch the news all the time, they are using techniques to depress you. They're using, and then at the end they do the feel good story, so you show up the next day. It's all mind games. And the best thing I've ever done, and if you only get one thing from this podcast, is stop watching the news. Don't read the newspaper. There's nothing good. There's nothing positive in there. And you might say, oh, what about the community section and old Mrs. Mavis that's like doing X, Y, Z? Well, go show up to that event where old Mrs. Mavis is and go talk to her. You don't need to read about it in the bloody paper, and you don't need to hear what Donald Trump's doing with some wall or some thing that's happening in Korea or like whatever other rot is going on. You don't need it in your head. Like, stand guard at the gates of your mind and only let like great knowledge and positive stuff come in. And for goodness sake, don't compare yourself to, you know, anyone on social media. It's the highlight reel. Like a couple of years ago, I got told that there's actually a new form of depression that is linked directly to social media. That's crazy. It's because like very few people put a photo of themselves on social media unless they're trying to, like, I don't know, manipulate you into buying something or something like that, where they're actually down, where they're legitimately down. Very few people will tell you the truth. They're only going to show you the site of them winning because they want to show you the highlight reel. And of course, like, no one wants to put negativity on social media. I'm not saying we should all go out and put negativity on social media. I'm just saying, like, put it in context. Be intelligent. Stop watching the news. Don't scroll and worry about what someone looks like on social media. Don't compare yourself to movie stars and models and all that, you know. Like, just be awesome about where you are. You know, you're awesome. Like, why would you want to be like them? Like, would be boring. You're individual. Like stop trying to go back and trying to be like the rest of the herd. What 400? What is it? Like, there's never been someone like you, and there never ever will be someone like you in the history of the entire universe. So stop trying to be like everyone else. Don't worry, you know, and comparing yourself. Like, Ed Milet did an amazing podcast. So did we about it. We were inspired by it. You know, comparison is only awesome for motivation in small doses. Then just get back to work. Just be good. You know, and every coach that I've ever met that's like wanted to help me take things to the next level says, go get in the mirror, look yourself in the mirror, and like, just see how far you've come. Be proud of like where you are. Like, the guy that was 4 years ago for me, that was like so stressed and so, like, I don't want to say depressed, but when I had the financial disaster, I was like breaking down and I was trying to be so tough and strong and like resilient, but it just got too much. And I was breaking down in a car park in the middle of the city. Like, so I felt like a complete idiot. And like, one of my amazing mentors and friends, and he happened to ring me at the right time, and he said, get your ass down to my office. And I'm so happy that I had sunglasses so I could kind of hide it a bit. But yeah, what you said before about like just letting it out, it like really spoke to me, because if I'd been educated back then, I would have let it out a lot earlier and I wouldn't have risked my health, because I was really risking my health. That's why I started it all over again, is because I got to the point where I was like, if I stay any longer, this is literally a stroke or a heart attack at 40, if I've ever seen it. Like, I'm going to be a statistic. So that friend has experience with depression, and he knew exactly how to handle me and how to like reframe me and get me back on track. And I'm forever grateful for that guy. Still talk to him a lot, and it's just amazing. But guys, that is a strategy. That's me sharing my story about how I handled it. And look, if you need to cry, That's just your brain and your soul taking out the trash. Don't worry about it. I'm sure Christine, when she felt sad, she probably cried. When she decided to feel sad, that was just her mind saying, okay, it's time to take out the trash. Now, if you take the trash out to the garbage bin, you don't wait at the front door and go, hang on a minute, let's just open this trash bag up and have a look at everything that's in here. You don't. Just throw it in the bin. Just let it go. Same with if you need to cry or you need to feel shitty and you just need to clear it out, you need to have better thoughts or whatever, just find a safe space and let it out. Just let it be done. And there's, like, I've given you strategies, I've given you my story. Guys, like, you can do it, because I can tell you one thing. At that point in my life, I felt like as a 75-year-old man, I'd completely failed and I'd ruined my life. I literally wasn't, like, I was at that point looking for antidepressants just to get me back up on the feet. I was like, I literally knew how bad they were. And I was honestly like, I don't think I can get back up this time. But like getting around the right people, getting around personal development, getting around people that had been there before me, and just realizing that I'm not the only one that went through this stuff. Other people have done it too, and they know how to get out. Show me how to do it. And I'm antidepressant free. And at that stage, I would have gone down the track, and I reckon I'd still be on them. If I'd got on them, I'd still be on them. So I don't know, Christine, like, you know my story, and what do you, like, yeah.
That's it. It's outstanding, mate. What you've just shared is amazing. And we've brought up a lot of stuff today, and I love that you've shared that part of your story as well. But we've spoken about diet and how that plays a vital role. We've spoken about exercise, again, plays a vital role in your mood. The other thing I want to talk about is, we spoke about mentality as well, mindset, and fueling it with the right things. But the other thing I want to talk about is something that I refer to as daily love rituals, things that bring you joy, things that actually you love to do. So it might be listening to music. You know, I've got a playlist that, it doesn't matter what mood I'm in, puts me in a good mood. I've got some kick-ass songs on there, and they just put me in that state, that joyful, playful, blissful state. So that's one of the daily love rituals that I've got. Another one is, and this is one of my coaches said, you know, what did you used to love doing as a kid? And I was like, I used to love climbing trees. I used to love rollerblading, roller skating. And he said, well, go and buy a pair of rollerblades. And I was like, okay. Now, I don't know anyone else here who is a rollerblader, but you cannot be in a bad mood rollerblading. It is so fun, and it's like climbing a tree as well. Like, I just get so much joy, and I love seeing the world from a different perspective. And I think there's something about being higher than the ground. It's like paddleboarding. I love paddleboarding as well, because there's something different about being on the water than just looking at the water. So all these things, you can start going, okay, well, what did I love doing? Like colouring in. I still love colouring in today, and I loved it as a child. So what are some things that maybe you've let go of? What are some things that maybe haven't been in your life for a while, but they used to bring you joy? And if you reintroduce some of them, you would have more of those feelings of joy and bliss and elation. So have a think about that. The other thing that one of my coaches got me to do was go and look in the mirror. And this is a really tough, and I found this really tough the first time I had to do it. Number one, I couldn't look myself straight in the eye. My eyes kept darting away because I didn't want to see the truth. I think I was afraid of what I would see and what would come up. So I kept averting eye contact with myself. Then the tears came because I kept saying to myself, I love you, I love you, I love you. But internally I knew it was a lie. I knew that I was lying to myself. So I was trying to trick myself. So I had all these emotions and all these tears come up because I felt like a liar. I felt like, you know, I was living this lie to myself. And then after I got over all that and I started to focus on the things that I loved about myself, it became easier and easier. And now I can go to the mirror and I could probably pash myself in the mirror. I love myself so much, you know. Like I can go to the mirror and tell myself how awesome I am and the fantastic job I'm doing as a mom and how I'm a great leader and all these amazing things, because I choose to focus more on the positive than the negative. You know, there's definitely things about my body I would change, but what I've learned to do is just love myself as a whole. Everyone has something they don't love about their body. Everyone has good traits and bad traits, ugly traits and beautiful traits. You know, no one gets out of this world being the perfect human being. It just does not exist. Your imperfections is actually what makes you perfect. And as Joel said, there will never be another one of you ever. You know, we're like snowflakes. It's incredible. I love it. That's why it's such an amazing time to be alive, you know, because we are so unique. So I would start with an exercise. You know, we've talked about diet, we've talked about exercise, we talked about mindset. The next thing I would love you to do is start listing down some things that you love about yourself. What are some of the good traits that you've got? What are some of the things about your personality? You know, maybe it's that you're caring, you're loyal, you're generous. Like, what are some of the things that you bring to the table? And start focusing on those. Start with that, and then you can worry about the areas for improvement later. But this is going to distract you. This is going to divert your attention to more of the good things in your life. And then what you want to do is start being grateful for that. You know, you want to start showing gratitude for the good things in your life. I'm so grateful that I'm an awesome mum because I'm giving my kids, you know, a great start in life. Or I love the fact that I'm so generous because that brings joy to so many other people. I'm so grateful that I'm an organized person. So what are the traits that you love about yourself? And then coming from a place of gratitude for having that is going to create more of the positive, more of the good things. It's like that law of attraction. So the more good feelings you have more often, the more that you're going to attract those. Does that make sense, Joel?
Absolutely. And look, this is like a muscle. It's like going to the gym. You're not going to get it straight away, you know. So I was really skilled at feeling bad in the past. I could feel bad for months. I could find a way to be like in a negative state, in a disempowering state for long periods of time. And that's like exactly how it sounds, not fun. And like a couple of techniques that I learned, one of them was learning how to get into the now. So you want to feel better, like you got to get into the now. So we've got 5 main senses. We've got other ones too, like the main ones that everybody can handle now. The majority of people. You know, when you're feeling in a depressed state, a below the line state, like just stop for a second and look around and notice some things. Maybe you're near a tree and you can notice the textures on the tree. Maybe you can like get down on the carpet and look at the carpet because like, I don't know. Or maybe you can look up at the clouds and like start seeing if you can see pictures or shapes that look like something in the clouds. You know what I mean? You could do something cool like that. You know, getting back to being the kid. You know, the next thing you do is you can like see what you've seen what you can see. Now, what can you hear? Can you hear the rain on the roof? Can you hear the cars going by? Can you hear kids laughing? Can you hear the dog running around? Like all these little things, I don't know. Can you hear the birds singing? The next thing is, so you're using your hands. So what can you see? What can you hear? What can you taste? Can you taste anything? Is there any, like, have you just like, can you remember a taste? Or can you, like, what does a lemon taste like? Or what, you know, something like that. And you just go through the senses and you can touch things. And, you know, like I'm sitting here on a table and I can see the wood textures and I can feel that it feels really weird and I can like I can tap it and I can make a sound, you know, like that, like switching those 5 senses on, you know, going through the whole lot. You know, what can you feel? Can you notice your feet on the floor? Like stuff like that. Activating them will drop you straight in the now. It'll take you out of thinking about the past. It'll take you out of the sphere of the future and you'll be in the now. So that is just a game changer for people. If you can really do that, that's epic. And if you are continually feeling up and down or whatever it is, I'm going to show you how to change. I'm going to show you how to change it right now. This is like this is like a no-brainer, game changer, epic one. Glad you listened this far because you're going to hear it, right? It's called the triad. Now, I didn't make this up, but when I became aware of it, it was just like, oh, wow, now I can really control how I think and feel. And if you can do that, you can change your situation, right? So the first thing is, if you're feeling like down in the dumps, what are you doing with your body? Are your shoulders forward or back? Are you breathing deep or shallow? Are you looking down or up? Are you like really still? Are you like hunched over? Or are you sitting back? Are you looking up? Are you like, like, here's something crazy. Could you go skipping like a little kid? Could you skip down the road? It is impossible to feel bad if you are skipping. So change what your body's doing. Breathe deep, look up, do all those things. Like, guys, if you're doing that right now, hopefully you're doing it right now. I bet you're feeling better, right? Already. So what's your body doing? Your physiology. That's step one that's part of the triad. So that's part of the triangle. The next step is your language. What are you saying to yourself? Are you saying, this is hard? Oh, I'm done. I'm stuck. Oh, stupid Joel, stupid me, stupid this. Like, are you making statements in your head, or are you asking questions? Are you saying, this is shit, or are you saying, how do I make this better? So are you saying negative stuff to yourself? Are you calling yourself names? Like, would you walk down the street and call someone the names you call yourself? If you're feeling down the dumps, probably not. So say awesome things. Switch statements out for great questions, empowering questions, because your mind loves to solve problems. So let it solve these problems or these challenges. Like, there you go. I improve my languages there. If you're challenged, your brain goes, awesome, I love challenges. Like, who doesn't like a good challenge? But if you are saying you're stuck, your brain goes, okay, sit there. We're going to feel bad. Cool. So there's the next one. And the next part is, what are you focusing on? Because whatever you're focusing on is going to grow. Whatever you're focusing on is you're going to put energy to, and you're just going to bring more of it into your life. So if you're focusing on all the things that are going wrong, guess what? You're going to bring more things that are going wrong into your life. I could focus on the time when I was really overweight, but then what's that going to do? Bring me more unhealthy habits. But if I focused on what can I do about it, and focused on the next walk I can go on, like, I'm now focused on going to the gym. Like, I'm going to get off this podcast, I'm going to start rendering it, and I'm going to the gym with my son. I'm focused on that, so I'm excited, but you can do the opposite. So whoever's feeling great is using the triad in a positive way. Whoever's feeling shitty is using it in the opposite way. And that's just black and white. So there's some strategies that will change the game for you. And you can teach that to anyone. Hear how simple it is. That's why rollerblading works for Christine, because it's like her version of skipping. It's not, hey, go sit in a dark room and watch Netflix. It's climb a tree. Go do something crazy. Like, I climbed a tree recently. So then Christine climbed a tree, and then I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'm frightened because, like, she was more crazy than me.
Oh, mate, I love that. I love that you touched on the triad. It's so, so important. And, you've just got to have a better recipe for life. If you're depressed, the recipe that you're using for life is not working. And the only person that can change it is you. And I'm sorry to say, but when you're depressed, from what I've noticed, my experience with people who are depressed, it's because they're making it all about them. And depression, from what I've been told by experts in the field, depression is when you're living in the past. Anxiety is when you're living too far into the future. Anxiety is you're worrying about things all the time that might happen, that may not happen, but you're still worried about those things happening. So it creates this anxiety, yeah? As Joel said, just live in the moment, guys. Honestly, just be present and live in the moment. Don't think too far ahead and stop looking back. Be in the moment, be a good listener, stay in tune with how you're feeling, allow yourself to feel, but don't dwell in it, okay? And when you are feeling depressed, you'll probably notice that you drop below the line, and it's what we call the responsibility game, where you start blaming other people. You start focusing on things that your partner didn't do, things that your kids aren't doing, you start blaming. You need to start taking some self-responsibility, because your depression, your mood is affecting the whole household. I guarantee that it is lowering the vibration of everybody, and your kids are picking up on that, and their moods are probably lowered because of it. So as Joel said, do you want to live a disempowered life, or would you rather live an empowered life? I don't know about you, but I definitely want to be in an empowered state more often than a disempowered state. And I want to teach my kids how to live an empowering life as well. So it all starts with you and making the choice that you're sick and tired of living like this. You're sick and tired of feeling like this. So make the decision today that enough's enough. You're going to seek help if you need it, or you're going to start making some positive changes. Not everything at once. We've given you so many strategies today, and we haven't just changed overnight and introduced all those strategies. This has been years in the process. We've started with one. Like, I started with diet, then I started with, mindset, doing the self-development. Then I started with, the exercise was always there, but then it was like, educating myself around ways to, live a more blissful life. So surrounding myself, getting coached, getting mentored by the right people that have done it. The right people that are not trying to fix me, but that are trying to allow me to grow and evolve as a human being, okay? We all have so many gifts to offer the world, but if we keep suppressing the way that we're feeling, if we keep squashing down those emotions and thinking that there's something wrong with us, then we're just going to be held back in life. And if there's things that have happened to you in your past and you're allowing that, to hold you back like a ball and chain, then again, you're not going to live free. You're not going to be the best version of yourself. You need to go back, deal with it, and then allow yourself the freedom to move forward. So I think that's it from me, Joel. I think we've covered so much today. Hopefully our listeners have got a lot out of this podcast. I think it's been an incredible podcast because it is a topic that we don't talk about a lot. People are suffering in silence, and we don't want you to do that. We want to bring this topic to the forefront. We want to have radical communication around it, and we want you to know that it's okay to feel depressed. There's nothing wrong with feeling depressed. We just don't want you to live in it, okay? We don't want you to bathe in it. We don't want you to dig a hole and just keep going deeper and deeper into that hole. We want you to feel elation. We want you to feel ecstasy. We want you to feel excitement, joy, bliss, and we want you to live your best life. And you can only do that if you deal with the emotions that keep coming up and live in more of a positive state than a negative.
Yeah, and look, give yourself the best chance to feel good. That's it. Like if you just never know what it is that's causing this. So like take some of these possibilities out of the game. Like if you're feeling down, then like start with eating better. What's the worst that could happen? You're gonna get healthier. Fair enough. That might not be it. Go exercise. What's the worst that could happen? Like, you could still not feel great. Well, what's the worst that's going to happen there? You're going to get stronger. Not tick the boxes so that you're giving it less chance of it actually sticking with you. And if you're feeling down, celebrate. Because it's just you've noticed it, and awareness precedes choice, which precedes change. That means you've become aware of it, so you can go get the help you need. Go get it. Like, tick as many boxes as you can. Give yourself the best chance in life to feel good. Are we guaranteeing that's going to happen all the time, or even with you? Maybe not. We're not. We're just not. But you know what? I'm going to stack the deck against me feeling bad as best I can, and I'm going to give myself the least possible chance of feeling shitty. So that's it for me. Congratulations for making it this far. And look, if you know someone that needs to hear this, share it out. Share it out. And yeah, take care of people. Take care of each other. That's what we want. So go out and be the boss of your life. And awesome. We're going to see you on the next podcast.
Can I finish with one more thing before you cut us off?
Ooh, you can. I really pressed it.
If you want a really good belly laugh, a good movie is Hear No Evil, See No Evil. It definitely is one that will get those, those feel-good hormones kicking in, and yeah, go and watch a funny movie. Like it's always great to bring you out of one of those states. So sorry, Joel, to cut you off. I wanted to get that in at the end.
Amazing. And hey, we don't get any royalties from you watching that, so that's awesome. Congratulations. Thanks, Christine. Have a great day.
Bye.
Damn.